Render me this, render me that. Oakland A's owner John Fisher, where the fuck are your stadium renders at? Look, Jim Carrey probably gets a lot of unfair ridicule for his portrayal of Riddler in Batman Forever. However, all of the terrible words directed at John Fisher are well and truly earned. In a recent video, Pratt talked about how the A's have still yet to release any renderings of their Las Vegas ballpark, and how it was really just an example of the team really trying to bury any sort of information on this relocation ahead of the MLB vote. However, there was one thing to me that really sticks out about this. That is, of course, how truly awful, how truly terrible the new Oakland A's stadium in Las Vegas must be if Fisher and Dave Kaval don't want to release any designs of it. We do know they exist because MGM Resorts International CEO Bill Hornbuckle told investors he's already seen them. Why he has seen them and not the general public remains a mystery. I mean, you would think taxpayers might want to have a look at where their money is going after all. As Pratt mentioned, it clearly seems that the A's and the city of Las Vegas are really trying to bury this as much as possible so that they can gain approval without any sort of input or feedback or anything from the general public, despite the fact that they are as much of a stakeholder, in fact they're more of a stakeholder than Hornbuckle, who just happens to operate the casino next door. We also know the entire process is being done as cheaply and as poorly as possible, par for the course when it comes to Oakland A's ownership. In fact, the design process has been described as similar to PayPal Park. Ah, yes, PayPal Park. The stadium designed so poorly that players have to walk up and down a flight of stairs to get to the pitch, and that was created and developed so cheaply that Dave Kaval decided that they were just going to put a huge table selling booze at one end instead of actually completing the stadium. That whole outdoor bar marketing shtick, by the way, total nonsense. You could build that thing anywhere. It didn't have to be at the stadium. In fact, the stadium could have still had the world's largest outdoor bar, as well as being fully enclosed with just a little bit of money and a little bit of imagination. Two things in short supply when it comes to John Fisher, Dave Kaval, and friends. Fisher, Las Vegas, they will make excuse after excuse about why the renderings haven't been released, but we all know the score here. We all know the deal. We all know the real reason why. These stadium renderings must be so terrible, so ass ugly, so just god awful that the only thing they would do was bring out scorn from every party, from A's fans in Oakland, from Las Vegas taxpayers, from the general public, who would see this thing and go, no, this is stupid, this is a bad idea. You have to imagine it's a cheap rinky-dink venue that not only doesn't compare to Howard Terminal, but would also look like a joke compared to most other new stadiums that have been opened in America over the past decade or so. Some have speculated the reason the A's aren't releasing any sort of speculative renderings is that they don't want to get fans' hopes up. But let's make one thing perfectly clear. Anyone who thinks that they're not getting people's hopes up are doing the exact opposite. This is just such poor thought process, such a poor planning. Everything about this just freaking sucks, man. Like, how can one group be so incompetent? As bad and as flawed as those first Las Vegas stadium renderings were, you can only assume at this point that they're going to be better than whatever does eventually get released to the public, something that's probably not likely to happen until well after the MLB relocation vote. By the way, your poorly done, quickly manufactured AI-generated renderings of a Las Vegas ballpark shouldn't be better than what you end up releasing to the public. Like, what are you doing, John Fisher? What the hell is happening? How can you? Well, I know I've answered this question several times. We all know why you're so cheap. How bad must these Oakland A's Las Vegas stadium renderings be? The fact that the public is not allowed to see anything at all tells us just about everything we need to know. The worst part about all of this is that the A's could actually have a really kick-ass stadium in Howard Terminal if they were just willing to spend a few $1,000,000 more. Instead, whatever crappy renderings do get released, they're sure to pale in comparison to what they could have had at Oakland and what they could have had basically anywhere else in the world. But hey, don't let logic ruin a terrible plan, John Fisher. That does it for me. I'm Cheyenne Hall. It's hashtag sell a team and hashtag take it out to the 25.